What's up, Dream Media family? This is Zach. We're up here high in the Colorado Rocky Mountains, and today we're going to be just doing a little how-to video to help you guys out with how to do maintenance on your Lutron roller shades. We've been installing a ton of these all around the Rockies in beautiful custom homes, and we just want to make a little video for those customers or property maintenance managers that to show you guys how to maintenance these shades. I'm going to be bringing on Chase Williams, our regional manager, and he's going to use our little shade demo kit here. We just got a fresh one, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity to take it out of the box, show you what the little demo kit looks like, as well as how to perform maintenance. If you aren't already subscribed to Dream Media Colorado, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. We got a lot of fun videos on everything from home theater to whole house audio, outdoor entertainment, as well as everything smart home, lighting and shades, and voice control. All right, guys, I'm gonna pass it off to Chase. Let's go.
All right, guys, so you got your shade system up. It's been 4 years. Your batteries are dying. What do you do? Or maybe you closed the door, maybe a kid grabbed the shade, a pet, or maybe a bug, like a big old horsefly, got caught up in the shade and knocked your roller alignment, your top and bottom alignment levels off. What do you do? Now, if you have a wired shade system and you're looking to tinker with this and fix some of these things, go check out what I think is gonna end up being like a 6-hour video series at my house where I built window frames, showed you guys running wire, everything. Today we're gonna be showing you how to change batteries on both Palladium and Triathlon, but how to set up Triathlon with the Pico remote and change your up and down levels if they get knocked off, as well as not paying someone out to come change a couple D-cell batteries. Let's dive into it. So this is also our shade kit, as Zach said. We haven't opened it yet, but we're gonna get this set up so you guys can kind of see what that process is. This is super cool, Lutron, this folding window design. I'm gonna let Zach come in here and catch this thing because it's gonna pop up into a window as soon as I grab it. All right, and this is a mock-up window frame that I will bring out to your house to kind of show you what this looks like. We're looking at the back right now, so 1 second, I'm gonna flip this around. All right, so now what you're looking at is a Triathlon battery-powered roller that has a Lutron designer fascia put on it. So now you don't necessarily need a carpenter to come out and build a wood valance to hide the shade. You can get these ordered in a handful of powder-coated colors, which will go after, and you can also get your own custom, but we'll dive into that when we break into our metal kit later. So this is a Triathlon, specifically battery-powered shades. This is only gonna work with Triathlons. What you're gonna do is if you peek under here, you can see my shade up in the pocket, and there's a little bit of room right here, right? So don't get your fingers all over your shade, but what you're gonna do is grab that, kind of pull up and out towards yourself. Okay, and then you'll feel it click, and that exposes my battery harness. So this is what you have to get to on a Triathlon if the battery's dying to replace it. Chase, when are my batteries dying? Your batteries are dying when your shades are moving at half speed. So in a normal wireless system or wired system with Lutron, you have perfect chem bar alignment across every window. If you hit a shade group and all of a sudden one of the shades is dropping at half the speed, that means you are at the end of your shade's battery life, and that is your warning to go ahead and get batteries before the shade fully dies. There's nothing wrong with the shade. It didn't get knocked off, so don't freak. Everybody calls me freaking out when the shade starts moving at half speed. That means it's time for a battery update. So specifically, guys, don't go buy discount batteries. You need Duracell lithium D-cell battery, alkaline D-cell batteries from Duracell. These have had the best performance. Don't mix and match your batteries. It will murder them. So go buy a brand new set. It's not a headache until you cheaped out on batteries or mixed and matched old batteries with new ones. and you're going back up after 2 months because the battery's dissipated. Lutron engineers tested these for years. These don't dissipate energy nearly as much as some of the other brands and really help with the shade technology. So this is really simple, guys. You're just gonna slide your batteries in and you're gonna keep loading them up. So this is a 6 battery harness. For most shades that are longer, you're gonna end up with an 8. And again, if you've got a really long window, opt for the extension pack. Don't go up there all the time. All right, so we're just gonna slide these in. Okay, and this last one, you're gonna push back. Oh, let that face right. You're gonna push back, and then that's just gonna clip in. That's the only battery that's a little hard, okay? So we've got all of our D-cell batteries in there. So if all you're doing is doing a battery maintenance on your shades, you're done. You're just gonna pull this valance back up, push on either corner, you'll hear it latch into place, and then you are done. Now there is a button up here in this top left corner, a little LED. You can go ahead and hit that, and if it lights up green, your shade has power, okay? So now since we haven't unboxed this kit yet, it's not paired with what would we call a control interface, right? So this shade is up there, it's ready to rock, but it doesn't know how to get commands. So we're using a tabletop Pico today. This is simple. This can be assigned up to as many shades as you want within 30 feet of this controller. So essentially, I could group all 8 of these window shades, or this can be a one-off solution. So today, it's just gonna be paired with one shade. I've got a shade open button, a shade close up, down, as well as this middle button, which by default, if you buy one of these, it's gonna bring the shade to 50%. So again, open, closed, bump adjustment down, bump adjustment up, 50%. So really nice. If you have a centralized system and you pair a shade directly to a Pico, you will not be able to join it to your wireless system. So if you've got a big old Lutron system like we are here, you power the shade, you pair the shade with the processor, then you pair this with the processor. If you make a one-to-one connection between a Pico and a shade, that is an insulated environment. Okay, so how do we pair the shade with our Pico? This is gonna be pretty simple. It's gonna be kind of hard to see, but if Zach showed you that LED button, we're gonna press it, it's gonna turn green, and I'm gonna hold the down button here until the Pico grabs. It might have been hard to see, but that LED is flashing really fast. Oh, it's done now. So as you can see, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe Lutron set these shade limits perfectly, but it might bump there. Okay, that is what it looks like after if your technician came, set your shades, dipped, you never saw them again. These hem bars, which add weight to the bottom of the screen here, and this is an example of a sealed hem bar. We'll break them down. But essentially, when these are rolled up in a box for 3 months, they're going to have a little bit of a skew there, whereas this shade is laying perfectly flat, as they will for most of their life. So if somebody comes in and sets your shade limits, you know, here, and it's bent, well, eventually that's gonna relax. You may need to adjust this bottom level. This shade's bottom limit isn't set properly. This will be set by your engineers, but again, a bug could roll up and knock this off. You can yank the shade, or it could catch something while it's moving, maybe a crank handle on a window, and knock off your limits. So for the triathlon paired with the Pico, this is what you're gonna do. You're going to press that button that Zach showed you earlier. It'll illuminate green, and that means it's in programming mode. Now you're going to hold the up and shade open button for about 6 seconds until it stays solid. Then we're gonna go ahead and bump. Now this is super important, guys. If you are going to set a down limit or an up limit, approach it the way you set it. So what do I mean by that? So if my shade's unrolled here like this, okay, and I pull it up like this and set it, it's not gonna go back down to that same position. You want to approach it the way the shade's gonna approach it, because there is play in a motor, especially with a fabric. So we're gonna approach down, going down, just like the shade would normal operation. We're gonna get it right where we want it. Then now we're just gonna hold the close button until that flashes. and that'll lock our down position. It blinked really fast there. It may be hard to see on the camera, but pretty easy to see in real life. So now we're gonna go ahead and do the same for our open limit. We're gonna pull it up. Now, it may be very enticing to hide this hem bar up into the frame, right? You don't want that, because there's a roller in there, right? And I've got my hem bar. We don't want the hem bar to pull and skew out. You're never going to get the same fabric wrap that way. So as far as you can tuck it before the hem bar starts rotating up and around itself. You want to leave the hem bar there. So thankfully with this, because we have the pocket, I can get to right there, and then I'm going to go ahead and set my shade limit for the top, which again is just holding the top button until we get super quick flashing. And now we're done. So and the shade already left programming mode. So if you just did that and now you hit a button and it doesn't work, your shade's still in programming mode. If you just touch that green LED again, it'll knock it out of programming mode. So now we're done. We showed you how to change the batteries. We also told you, I'm telling you, I don't know a single Lutron client I've had that has kids that eventually a kid doesn't grab a shade, or, you know, it's so, I mean, if I was a 5-year-old, I'd do it too. You see the shade moving, you're like, maybe I can ride it up. Maybe I can do something. That'll knock off your limits. That's how you fix your limits. So now we're programmed, guys, and this shade remote will work as it should. So again, we've got an open button, which, as you can see, it just says shade. This can be custom engraved, all right? This is a stock unit, so it doesn't have engraving, but that could say kitchen, living room. And maybe if you aren't opposed to wall controls and you're doing a wireless solution, having a couple of these Picos maybe on a tabletop. I love these in a primary bedroom right next to the table. So when you're getting ready for bed, you can go ahead and drop your shade and not have to get up. So I actually do really love these Picos, and Zach has a couple Picos in his house as well. But, so as you can see, it remembered that, right? That's our bottom limit. Don't go any lower than this. Okay, you cannot black out. If you're trying to get zero light gap, we have solutions for you, and it's not a part of our D-cell battery solutions. So you can have a solution, a wired shade on an island with a local power supply and a local wireless communicator that we can then do tracks and bottom plates. The up button, and you can see our shade's programmed, and I won't have to touch this again until someone yanks on it. I've got my 50% button on the Pico, and obviously my favorite two buttons are your bump adjust. Okay, so you can track the sun and really, really start to control how much light gets in your space. So again, guys, that was just a breakdown. This is a triathlon. Really quick, I'm gonna show you how to change the batteries on a Palladium. We'll cut to that. But this is how to change your batteries and how to reset your limits on a triathlon, a wire-free shade. If you're looking to do this with a wireless system, check out the video on Dream Media Colorado. There's too much info in there to digest, but I show you how to do everything, even set up your own wired shade on a system. So let's jump over and just show the battery replacement on the Palladium real quick, and you guys will be ready to go to tackle your own shade maintenance at home. All right, guys, so this is a Palladium wire-free shade, okay? We've got architectural brackets here and a gorgeous shade fabric. These have no wires. They don't require any type of treatment, nor do you want them to. These are your option if you love this minimal look once they're rolled up. Here's how you change the batteries. So typically stock, they'll come left side. Depending on where your window frame is, your tech may order the motor on the right side. So how do you tell? There's an idler side and a motor side of every shade. So if you just come back here and pull and it doesn't move at all, I'm pulling towards myself. This is the idler side, it's not going to move. So that means my battery harness is gonna be on this side. So again, I'm just gonna gently tug, okay, and that's gonna slide out. Now there is a lock, so I can't just rip this off, but just be careful. You can accidentally hit this pin and the shade would come free, but currently as we stand, the shade will support itself. Now, so there's this little battery harness, guys. This, you just push back and down, and it's gonna release. So hopefully you guys are able to see that. And that's my battery end cap. And then I'm gonna, because it's spring loaded, as soon as this gets out of the way, the batteries are gonna feed themselves to you. You're gonna pull this out. These do bend, so you can add a bend into these that won't affect the way the shade is, but now as you can see, I can get a 6 battery cell out of this corner without any issues. So then I'm gonna go ahead and change my batteries, and you're going to go positive side facing you. So you're gonna stick the negative side, the flat back of the battery, back in, and just make sure that this battery harness is outside of the way. And then again, because of the angle, I put a crease into this that doesn't affect the functionality at all. It's just gonna give me the angle that I need. This window particularly, it didn't matter which side I put the motor. It was always going to be a little bit of a pain to get the batteries out. So you're gonna set those back in, okay, and they're just gonna keep springing out towards you. So what you're gonna have to do is flip this battery harness in, push. You'll see the shade power on. You'll get a red and green flashing light. I don't know if you can see that, Zach, but that means that your shade does have power. And again, you're just going to push that into place. It pushes typically down, but depending on how your shade was ordered, maybe you have to push up, but it just latches in, and you can see now that casing is holding the shade in, no issues. I'm just gonna push this back, and that's my maintenance on the Palladiom wire-free shade, guys. All right, guys, so that was super exciting. We broke down how you could maybe not call it a tech if your only maintenance issue with the shade is your batteries dying, right? So we went over both of Lutron's super elegant battery lines, the Triathlon, how you pop it out and you can change your D-cell batteries, as well as a look at Palladiom wire-frees, my favorites, how those batteries work. Again, robust battery life. We also went over on a shade powered with a standalone controller like a Pico, how you would adjust your shade limits. Say something grabbed, something went amok, and the shade open and close limit got knocked off a little bit, how to set those. Very exciting stuff. If you're looking for the similar type of maintenance content and install content on a wired shade system, go ahead and check out this playlist on the Dream Media Colorado channel. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, Dream Media family, that is a wrap out here in Colorado, checking out how to maintain your automated shades for Palladiom or Triathlon. Here in Colorado, we are servicing the entire area, and of course, if you guys need maintenance, you can just give us a ring, but we also want to empower our customers and make sure you guys are educated on everything about your brand new automated shades. We went over how to set limits, as well as replace the battery, and a couple other pro tips from Chase. Big thanks to Chase for giving you guys a rundown on that. If you guys like this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below for more. Till next time, this is Zach with Dream Media Home Theater. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.